Okay, I'm recording this video after the close Monday, 5th of April 2010. I just want to do the Commitment of Traders update in a video. So let me just go to the right slide. Here we go, the latest Commitment of Traders number for the E-mini. On a weekly basis, the professionals are net short, negative 0.7% of total open interest. So there we go. We're slightly up. Last week's reading was negative 1.3%, so short 1.3% of total open interest, and they've reduced their short positions a fraction. We're negative 0.4%. Here's the crash warning signal that we had last week. This latest data was just Monday's data here. This was last week's weekly action, and that gave us the end of trend warning signal a couple of weeks ago there. So just pointing that out. If I go to the oscillator reading, we've actually now just flipped over, so we're reading positive 140, which is overbought and starting to turn down. So what we'd expect is some weakness in the marketplace. Just during this rally, we've had these kind of overbought and oversold signals have actually been fairly decent. These are plotted on the price bars. These cyan, blue and red dots are plotted on the price bar after the fact, so they look like perfect signals, and they pretty much are. What happens is, as soon as the oscillator turns below the zero line here, the peak of that last swing will be plotted with a red dot, and similarly when the oscillator turns above the zero line, the cyan dot is plotted on the low of that cycle. So it just gives me a better sense of kind of the overall swings in the marketplace. And as you know, the last 2 or 3 months we've had very, very strong move, up move, and we're reaching overbought, and the oscillator has started to turn over. So I'm going to be expecting some weakness. It's a pretty hard call to make at the moment. Just the market appears to be so strong. Today's action was bizarre, if you ask me. We had extremely low volume. If I go to the daily chart, on this volume chart here, you can see there's only 1 million contracts traded during the day session. So this is the @es.d. This is the daily E-mini contract, continuous contract using TradeStation. So this isn't any overnight data in here. We had 1 million contracts traded extremely low. You can see the last time we had a small amount of trading was down here. And during the day, the day's activity was bizarre, flat top kind of pattern here. You can see this was, we came into the broke away for the beginning of the day, came into this high at 1183.85 kind of level, and we just stuck there all day. There was a little bit of a trade in the morning, a pullback. I'll show you that on my intraday charts, but we just stuck there for the majority of the day, and there was a little bit of activity at the end of the day where we had a high churn bar here. So it's a high volume bar with low range, showing that there was some profit taking here. And because we didn't poke through this high, if we'd had a higher volume day today and we'd not been able to poke through this top here, that would have shown a lot of churning going on during this kind of top being made, and that would have been kind of a sign of profit taking. But because the volume was so low and there was just not enough activity to kind of push us through, this top's not being made because of profit taking by professionals. It's just being made because there's a lack of buying going on to push it through. However, when we drop down to our kind of intraday charts, you can see this last rally. This is the weekend, Easter weekend kind of period here. The end of the days are shown with these grey dotted vertical lines. The beginning of the days are showing with the red dotted lines. So that was Friday's activity, and this was Monday's activity here. But on the Thursday's activity, you can see we had a big sell-off in the afternoon, around lunchtime, where we pushed way down here, having some exhaustion selling volume on the 4500 tip bar chart. And what we've been having is just a series of bounces from these kind of extreme selling opportunities. If I bunch this chart up, you can see at this point here we had exhaustion selling on the market, kind of bounced from there. We had another period here where we had exhaustion selling, the market bounced. This was the latest one. Exhaustion selling on Thursday, and the market kind of has bounced ever since from there. The kind of selling that we got early on in the day when we reached these highs here was pretty extreme. It wasn't an exhaustion signal here, but I think that was a good deal of profit taking going on. You can see these 3 professional bars coming up into these highs, showing that professionals are taking profits up here. So my feeling, and particularly we've got an end of trend warning signal about to be signaled here. We've got a pullback in an uptrend, and we've now kind of made a cyclical top. So I think that's kind of an end of trend warning signal here on this time frame. I'm going to be expecting weakness overnight and during tomorrow's session. The only kind of setup that we got during the day, if I drop down to the 1500 tip bar chart, was this pullback in an uptrend signal here, where we had bullish divergence on better momentum here, coming into a cyclical turning point, and the market kind of took off until we got these whole series of professional profit-taking bars up into these highs. Whole series there going up to this 1184 level, another couple here up into 1184 after we had our end of trend warning signal here, forming this flat top. Unfortunately for me, there wasn't enough kind of conversions of signals to take this trade. Yes, it was a cyclical turning point, and we did have bullish divergence on the momentum indicator, but there weren't any professional bars there, so I kind of stepped aside. When we drop down to the 500 tick bar chart, you can see that there was kind of more indications of a turning point on this time frame. It was a cyclical turning point. We had professional bars pushing into these lows here, showing that was professional profit taking and starting to get long. And then when we came back and retested these levels, we had a couple of Rambo patterns. These little R signals here, that's a Rambo pattern, so that's an amateur bar kind of down bar into new lows, showing that, and a break above that bar shows that that's the amateurs are getting wrong-footed, and there's a reversal of this amateur expected breakout to the downside. We had a no supply pattern here, we had bullish divergence and so on. So this on the 500 tick bar chart was a good signal to go long, but for me there wasn't enough confirmation on the 1500 tick bar chart at this point here, so I didn't take a trade during Monday's session. Anyway, but I'm expecting weakness overnight and expecting weakness tomorrow, so hopefully we'll get a good setup to make a good trade tomorrow. So there we go, latest commitment of traders numbers, just showing that the professionals are still net short, not very much, but we've had the oscillator peak at a positive 140 and start to roll over.